Yesterday I created a topic out of just to be topical, kind of talk a little bit, just randomly threw it out there. I asked, how would people react if Starlight Glimmer ended up kissing Spike the Dragon on the lips? Just, just out of curiosity. I mean, I know a lot of fans tease it a little bit just for the fact that in I believe the Crystalline, and then in this past season premieres episode, you kind of had Spike kind of hold her head like face to face with his, and a lot of fans have pretty much kind of joked about that, kind of talked about what is Hasbro, what is DHX Media trying to imply, stuff like that. So it got me thinking, what would happen if this was to occur, but there was a reason for it. As I said in the description, options, what if it was required? What if they were on a friendship mission or some kind of friendship mission or a mission period, and something happens? Like, let's say it's a hearth-warming kind of friendship mission. What happens if Spike and Starlight are under the hearth warming's equivalent of the mistletoe? That would and they're in front of the whole public, kind of take a page out of the movie I'll Be Home for Christmas, if you will. But not all the way. But not thoroughly throughout that scene where they're televised and all that, but they're in public. And let's say it's just them and it's Twilight, whatever. What would your reaction be if it occurred because of something like that? That was all I was asking. Or, what would your reaction be if it was necessary to complete a spell? Like, they had to complete a spell to reverse a spell, or reverse the effects of something, diffuse another spell. I mean, can you imagine Sunburst telling Twilight or Starlight, okay, telling them that the last thing that needs to be done to complete this is a kiss between a pony and a dragon. But not just a kiss on the cheeks or anything like that. We're talking kiss on the lips. Between a pony and dragon, between a pony and a dragon. And let's say Sunburst is occupied. Well, obviously he would be occupied, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let's say Twilight's occupied helping Sunburst. And the only other ones in the room as they're trying to complete the spell are Spike and Starlight. In a way, it kind of makes sense, because the way Spike gets written sometimes, and now the way Starlight gets written, it's like both will realize, well, we're the only ones standing right now. We're the only ones not occupied. We might as well just go for it and see what happens. What if that was to be... What would your reaction be if that was the scenario? You see, I'm not asking because, I want to ship these two. No, I'm still pro Spike and Rarity. Believe me. I'm still pro Spike and Rarity, and I like the fact that we got some Spike Rarity moments, if you will, in the movie. So I'm happy about that. But what I'm getting at is, what would your reaction be? How would you feel if you're watching an episode, and like I said, it's a hearth-warming's Christmas-related episode, and you have Starlight and Spike under their equivalent of the mistletoe in front of everybody, in front of every pony around them at that time. How would you feel if that ended up happening? How would you feel about that? How would you feel if, like I said, if it was required for a mission to succeed? Like, let's say they have to reverse a spell or something like that, and the last thing is that the last thing required is a kiss between two individuals that care for each other, but not just a kiss, but not any kiss. It's a kiss on the lips. How would you feel? How would you feel if maybe, like I said earlier, Sunburst and Twilight read off that the last thing that's needed is a kiss on the lips, between a pony and a dragon, or at least, like I just said, two individuals that care about each other to complete the spell. It'd be very. How would you feel? How would you feel about that? To me, I find it very intriguing. Because in a way, Hasbro and DHX wouldn't be implying romance, but they'd be kind of giving the fans something that they kind of get behind. That they would kind of be surprised by. Because you would think the character he would kiss would be Rarity. And that is true. That is true. There's no doubt about that. But if this was to happen in the series, in the episode, or even in one of the comics, how would you react? You know, some people have already replied at the forums and some of the message boards and some of the closed and open Facebook pages, and have pretty much said that, pretty much some of them have had mixed reactions. Some of them have said, they'd be one person would wonder how it got past Hasbro. One person would be reminded why they stopped watching, regularly. Others really wouldn't mind, if it was necessary for the story to flow, for that episode, for the mission to be complete, for the spell to be complete, stuff like that. Everybody's kind of been back and forth about it. And to me, that's what asking these kind of questions are about. You want to know what other people's take is on it. How would they feel if something like this happened? Again, like I said, I'm still pro Spike and Rarity. I think a majority of the fan base is. Not all the fan base, but a majority of the fan base is. But for me, I look at the fact that when you have Spike and Rarity, if you're going to have that happen, then it has to happen as a Hearts and Hooves Day related episode. It has to occur. I mean, if you're going to do that, do it. But don't go the love potion route, no. Because if you're going to go that love potion route like they did before with Cherry Lee and Big Mac, then you might as well go all the way and infect the entire main 7. Yeah, I said main 7. You might as well do that. You might as well go all the way and affect the entire main 7 and Spike. Just go all the way. But if you're going to do a Rarity Spike episode like I'm hoping they do in Season 8, would finally resolve this situation and kind of be a love letter to the fans, and to support the pairing and support the show, then I think a Hearts and Hooves Day related episode is the perfect way to go. But I've already discussed that. But I've already discussed that in previous videos. What I'm here to discuss and talk about is how would you feel if Hasbro, DHX Media, IDW decided to pull this rabbit out of their hat, this rabbit out of their hat, if you will, by having Starlight and Spike kiss, but not romantically, but more along the lines of it's necessary for a spell to be complete to defuse another spell or to fix whatever problem has happened. They have to do it, like I said, to complete the spell, to diffuse another spell, or to kind of fix any kind of fix things, if you will. Kind of like fix a problem. Like, let's say it's a Hearts and Hooves problem, and there's a lot of background ponies kind of bickering and all that with each other, mares and stallions, if you will. And then this spell's the only way to kind of diffuse the spell that was put on them that's causing the bickering. I'm just saying. Or how would you feel if it's done sort of as a Christmas-related episode where you have both under the mistletoe or their equivalent of the mistletoe? The point I'm getting at is, how would you feel? Me, I've pretty much said that I don't have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it occurring. I wouldn't have a problem with it happening, because if it's necessary for, let's say, a spell to be complete, to diffuse another spell, or to, fix a solution, like, a spell, like, let's say, for example, let's say, for example, they didn't use this in the crystalline premiere, but let's say they had added this scenario in. It'd be something like that. Like, okay, go back to how Twilight and Cadence thought they had everything up and ready to go to fix the crystal heart. It looks like they've succeeded, but then they find out they failed. Only for Sunburst to come in and say, that's not going to work unless you have this. So imagine if something like that was to happen, a scenario like that was to occur, and then one of the last things that's needed to complete the spell and make it work is a kiss between two characters that care about each other, and the only two not involved in the scenario right then and there is Spike and Starlight. I'm just saying. And again, how would you feel if it was probably added in as a scene for a heartwarming Christmas episode, and they ended up under the equivalent of the mistletoe in front of every pony around them, and they just did it. It doesn't really have to mean anything. I mean, yes, from a writer's standpoint, it could tease that maybe there's something there. Who knows? But the more you tease about something happening elsewhere, the stronger the other scenario becomes and more realized it becomes. So to me, this is just a question I know I've spent a lot longer talking about than I probably typed up, but I just want your guys' opinion on it. How would you feel? What would your thought process be about that? How would you feel? With everything I've pointed out and talked about here, how would you feel? How would you look at it? Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Comment if you like. But let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear from all of you. Silver Quill, Megan McCarthy, M.A. Larson, the new girl in charge, Nicole Dubark. I'd like to hear from all of you. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.